Okay, thank you. In fact, what we heard until now is a perfect introduction on what I wanted to say, because we heard we need more bottom-up initiatives. We need the society, the citizen to be organized to play a role in the transition of the energy sector. And the example I want to give with the energy cooperative in Belgium, Ecopower in the Flemish part of Belgium, and as we see now that many similar kind of energy cooperatives, or call it as you want, citizens that get organized and start to become a player in the energy sector. We see that there are many in Europe, also in Greece, who are close to a point, to a starting point, or already active. So maybe I prepared this slide. I just tell it briefly because this sums up what is said already many times in this conference today. We're going through a whole ranges of crises and looking at the problems that we have to come over. It seems impossible, and at the same time, this whole energy sector is changing anyway. Even if some people don't want it or are afraid about it, it is changing anyway. We see a very strong shift in Europe, but also worldwide, in favor of renewable, especially also in favor decentralized energy production instead of big centralized production plants, and that there is anyway a need for more rational use of energy at all levels, with the citizen, at industry, in transport, whatever, at all levels. We need to stop spoiling energy. This has been said many, many times. There are in fact two arguments that I want to raise, that we are in fact in a good position to tackle this energy transition. So first of all, we should not forget, especially in Europe, we have a strong regulatory framework above us. I know it's dangerous to say something positive about Europe and Greece, but I take the risk. I think when you're honest, things that happen, the reason why we have renewable energy in Europe growing anyway is because we had a good European legislation. Take it as it is. That's not perfect. The world is not perfect, but thanks to that original directive for the support of electricity from renewables, something got started. And at the end of my speech, I think you will agree that there's a lot of positive in it. Also there's a lot of negative things, of course. So we have this strong, let's say, roadmap and this vision for the future that, in fact, any actor should now try to keep in mind. On the long term, we need to go to a cleaner energy system. And even outside Europe, on an international level, you have a similar consensus, in fact. And at the same time, we see also a kind of revival of the cooperative economy. We say, okay, the full capitalist model it has its problems. We all know that the communist model didn't work. So something in between, a sound profit level, but benefits spread, benefits not focused to a few parties, but spread over all people that create that benefit or help to create this added value. This is a model that is in fact embedded in the cooperative entrepreneurship. So altogether we see, in fact, for the citizen in Europe, thanks to the very strong development of technology, we heard half an hour ago here that that's not a good, it doesn't match politics and technology. I'm not so sure about that. It's a big mixture. If you shake water and oil enough, you get a kind of mixture anyway. So thanks to the technology that is developing well, renewable energy technology gets much more performant at a better price, at less exploitation costs. So that's a positive thing. That means that and also it's available in small capacities. You don't need to invest immediately in huge plants. although this is now the trend in Greece, I learn, but you can, of course, plant smaller wind farms, and then they're less profitable. But when the developers are happy with a smaller profit margin, then I think you're on the right road. And citizens are mostly happy with a smaller profit, with a smaller return on investment, something like they get in the good times on their bank account, on the savings account. So one thing I want to put in mind here, you can lay back as citizen and complain a lot, but you have to realize if you don't do anything, the citizens, the consumer at the end will pay the price anyway. If other actors will invest and get the things organized and they make a lot of profit, this profit comes from everybody who is consuming energy. So it comes also from you, from you, from you, and from me. So no matter how you turn it, you are a consumer, you pay to the one who is producing and supplying you electricity. You live in a state, you have to pay taxes, and you save money and try to save some money, put it on the bank. Anyway, they get part of your money. So we think it's better to take the initiative yourself and try to get in action. So the background of the Energy Cooperative Initiative is in fact that citizens take the action now. It is possible because the law, the European legislation, which is implemented in all member states, allows you. You as a citizen are allowed to develop a renewable energy scheme or any other economic activity and make a living out of it. This is allowed. If you follow the rules that are written down, you can do it. And in the field of renewable energy now, technology is available for you to do that. So both the technology as the legislation allow you. So citizens take action. And then in Flanders, in Belgium, the northern part of Belgium, we have been quite lucky to start with this. At a moment we didn't choose ourselves, it was quite coincidence in '98 when the government was forced, let's say, by the European legislation to do something extra for electricity from renewables, from water, hydropower and wind power, and there was introduced some kind of feed-in tariff. I'm speaking in '98 now. And then this cooperative was already existing, which had a noble idea to restore small hydro schemes in Flanders. Flanders is a very flat country, so it's quite ridiculous, but that was the noble idea of 10 people. And at that moment, some other idiots got involved, and they say, now let's see at the actual state of technology with wind energy in this Flemish part of Belgium. We have some sites with good wind. Let's see if the project would be profitable. And it was. And then a first project with 2 wind turbines, about €4 million investment, was created by 5 people in their free time. And they invited all the citizens from the community, from the city where this project was realized. They invited all the citizens to step in the capital of this company, because it was this strange kind of enterprise, a cooperative enterprise, where the capital is open. So every citizen can buy shares. One share was, or still is, €250, and you can buy as many as you want, but you only have one voice in the General Assembly. So this is not something interesting for rich people who can buy many shares and then dominate the enterprise. This is something for many, many, but small investors who want to invest in renewable energy. And then thanks to the fact that the energy market had to be liberalized, the cooperative took on board also the activity not only to develop renewable energy projects and to produce renewable energy, but also to supply, so the other end. So because the people said, we have invested now and we want our own electricity, we want it to be delivered at home, at our homes. And this appeared to be quite a good scheme, because the purpose of the cooperative was not to make money on supplying electricity. The purpose was to make money on investing, on the investment. So the supplying of electricity was done at cost basis, so in fact without making any profit. And then many people joined because they want to become customer. And the rule was we only supply electricity to those people who become shareholder also, who step in the cooperative. So this makes that at the end of 2012, there were over 45,000 cooperative members in Flanders. Now it's over 50,000 already. And there was quite some projects developed. And we are spreading, let's say, this idea now. So that's about the supply activity. Everybody's quite happy with the service of supplying. It's a very simple, straight tariff, linear tariff. 1 kilowatt hour is now 22 euro cents, everything included. If you don't consume anything, you don't pay anything. And we notice now that in many other places in Europe, citizens start doing the same. Like in Germany, they call themselves Störfall. It means like they are in an accident. They bought the grid. There was a local grid, nobody wanted to invest in, and then some citizens created the cooperative to buy the local grid. And this seems to be this appeared also to be quite a success, because then they said we want to adapt this grid just to welcome renewables, to favorize renewables, because they decide on it. They take the initiative and then they become an actor in the energy sector, and they decide also what's going to happen. And like here in Denmark, people from Copenhagen said if we want these, if they're going to build these wind turbines at the coast of Copenhagen, we want to be co-owner. Otherwise, we won't have them. And then we will decide how many we want to have, what is still acceptable, yes or no. Not other investors, but we want to have a voice there also. And in the UK, there are many similar initiatives where also even there are organizations that help energy cooperatives to get started. So altogether, Ecopower and the other cooperatives I just mentioned, we are joining forces to spread this idea throughout Europe. We follow some principles. We created a federation. It's called RESCOP, Renewable Energy Sources Cooperatives. And we see that, in fact, at this very moment in Greece, there are many opportunities to do the same. So, thank you for your attention.